Piccolo, Jr., the reincarnation of the Demon King, God. Piccolo has gone through a lot of transformations throughout the series. He went from the literal embodiment of the evil that lived within God to sacrificing himself for the son of the man he should hate the most. He's gone through a lot of transformations and is often considered by many as Goku's first real serious rival. As the series goes on, Piccolo goes from struggling against the likes of a Saiyan with a power level of 1500 to one with a level of 4000, to then fighting the Emperor of the entire universe at a level of over 1 million, and making him go beyond that after reuniting with his people on planet Namek. Later, he trains for beings that slaughter Super Saiyans that made the Dominator of the universe literally shit his pants, and in just 3 years, many people note that Piccolo himself has so much power that it's unbelievable for anybody but a Super Saiyan to actually be so strong. But as we know, he goes even further beyond that, and he should have been able to handle Frieza easily, even back in the day, in the words of his own people, the Namekians, because he is a Super Namekian, and it is just a piece of the being of Kami that he was split from. And after refusing with Kami and finally becoming complete, Piccolo becomes so strong he can fight on par with guys who can one-shot the Super Saiyans, the strongest guys in the whole universe, in just one hit, while not even trying. He then trains for a while for the upcoming Cell Games against a monstrous amalgamation of every strong guy on Earth and Frieza put together, and does decently well against Cell Juniors during the tournament, but falls up short compared to the newly super trained Ascended Super Saiyans, even while fused with Kami and complete. Despite training for many years leading up to the Buu saga, Piccolo has fallen way behind. Even in 7 years, he can't reach the level of his old rival, Goku, from the Cell Games. That's how crazy of a boost Goku's training gave him in Super Saiyan Grade 4. As Piccolo, despite surrendering out of respect, is confirmed to be weaker than the current Lord of Lords, the Supreme Kai Shin. Shin, who is around the strength of Goku during the Cell Games. This is insane, and it makes you start to understand why Vegeta thought he could win a tournament that had Piccolo in it without even needing to go Super Saiyan. It wouldn't be for many years until Dragon Ball's continuation, Dragon Ball Super, that Piccolo would finally really begin to pick it back up. However, with Goku's now newly obtained literal god powers, it was hard to do so. But eventually, we get to the point of Orange Piccolo, where Orange Piccolo finally reaches the levels of the Saiyans once again. So let's go over it. Piccolo is a prodigy. Somewhat of a stupid statement, but I mean it. As you know, obviously in anime, everyone is a prodigy for the most part. But this is important as it leads us onto Orange Piccolo later. So stay with me here. He's a prodigy. In fact, I would argue way more prodigious than Goku is, for many reasons, and here's why. Do you know how old he actually is when he faces Goku for the title of strongest in the world? Remember, Goku is about 19 years old during this tournament. Well, do you know how old Piccolo is? Take a guess. He seems about the same age as Goku is, right? Well, no. Piccolo is 3 years old. He's as old as a toddler and younger than Gohan when Raditz kidnaps him. Hopefully you see where I'm kind of going with that now. By the time he is around 7 through 8 years old, he is facing Raditz with an around 24-year-old Goku. And by the time he is around 8 or 9-ish, he's facing a powerful Saiyan named Nappa. Nappa being a mid-class or an elite if you use kind of archaic terminology. It's kind of up in the air. There's a whole mid-class elite debate. Toriyama thinks the Saiyan Prince and King were the only elites, and there's 10 mid-class, which Nappa would be a part of. But that's up for you guys. He then goes on to reach a power level of over 1 million before even being 10 years old, younger than Goku when he started the series. He had a power level of 10. Piccolo is over 100,000 times stronger than Goku while being a few years his junior. So you'd imagine Piccolo actually has insane latent potential when he starts to showcase in the Android arc for sure. But why does he always seem to stagnate compared to the Saiyans? In fact, he begins to get surpassed by the Saiyans in their base forms, not even them using Ascended Super Saiyan forms by the time the Buu saga actually rolls around. This may be due to how Kami's influence on Piccolo may have affected his training, or Piccolo just genuinely didn't find or innovate his training too much like Goku did in the afterlife and so on. Dragon Ball Super, however, corrects this greatly. In Dragon Ball Super, Piccolo is shown struggling with Tagoma. In the anime, he still has his weights on when this happens. But due to this, it's highly likely Piccolo steps up his training, and we see those results in the next arc, or the Universe 6 arc. In Universe 6, Goku, who has absorbed the power of a Super Saiyan God which surpasses fusion, from the Buu Saga, or at least Super Saiyan 3, has to fight against Frost, who is basically the Universe 6 version of Frieza. And after Frost goes into his final form, Goku has to go Super Saiyan to take him on. And yes, he does need Super Saiyan, as Vegeta, when he's taking Frost seriously, also goes Super Saiyan, even against a fatigued Frost. Goku then says, Piccolo, you don't stand a chance against him, but good luck. And then Piccolo, with his ingenuity and his techniques, and with the special beam cannon, not only actually gets the upper hand on Frost and would beat him in a fair fight, but actually blasts Vados' barrier away that even base Goku and Frost earlier weren't doing. So you can really see that even in just one arc, after he gets the hint, he really explodes. Later, we see Piccolo without his weights training Gohan, and he can, no joke, manhandle even Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in a fight. And this isn't as unimpressive as you might assume, because many of you probably assume Gohan is probably severely weakened like he was in Revival of F, as this is post-Zen exhibition match Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, meaning he is stronger than when he faced Universe 9's Lavender, and Universe 9, who can even pressure Majin Buu, with Lavender still being confident in facing Gohan after seeing Majin Buu's full power and seeing a roided out Basal get destroyed. Gohan can then easily fight him in base form, and Lavender needs to blind and poison him to get the upper hand at all, and even while blind and poisoned in base form, he can actually somewhat fight back. Now you have Piccolo fighting the Super Saiyan 2 version of this Gohan at full power. That makes you really wonder where those gains were at in the Buu Saga, which sort of supports what I was saying earlier. Regardless, you can kind of see how Piccolo should have a lot of potential, but he doesn't have insane God of Destruction level training or literal God transformations to amp him like Goku and Vegeta do at the moment. And while he has a lot of potential, obviously Gohan has more, as Gohan is pretty much story-wise supposed to be the potential GOAT, other than Frieza and Broly, maybe. But even then, Piccolo keeps up with a trained Gohan pretty well in the Tournament of Power, and they combo together. We then see in the manga they actually combo extremely well and fight similarly, despite Gohan being way stronger than he was when he actually stalemates Kefla in the manga. Now, the actual manga canonicity to the Dragon Ball Superhero movie I'm going to be getting into is a little bit questionable now, as with the new Goten and Trunks superhero arc, apparently they might be retelling events from the movie, so it may be possible that the manga has its own continuity, so do keep that in mind. But it is canon to the anime and all the movies, of course, when I do get into the movies here in a second. So after all this build-up and fan anticipation, Toriyama was finally like, you know what, maybe it's actually a good idea for this guy to be relevant. He kind of deserves it if any character does. Then we see all that potential that we knew he had finally kind of get unlocked and shown by Shenron, which was a thematically fitting for him for many reasons, as it's sort of him utilizing his powers as both Kami and Piccolo together to really become complete and all that blah 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 blah. This potential unlocked Piccolo can actually face Gamma 2 very well, and Gamma 2 was constructed alongside Gamma 1 to actually be counters for Goku and Vegeta, who the Doctor has been spying on ever since Moro, Broly movie, not Tournament of Power because they didn't watch that, but at least Revival of Frieza and many other situations. They've been watching the whole time, and they seem pretty confident in the Gammas, and they don't seem to think they need to call upon Cell Max. And this is pretty interesting as well, if they saw Goku and Vegeta fuse into Gogeta versus Broly as well, because that may mean they think the Gammas can take Gogeta, which would mean that Goku and Vegeta are just so powerful now, they would easily manhandle Gogeta, which may not actually be that far-fetched, but even if you don't think that, it means even Ultimate Piccolo, or just like the lime-colored Piccolo, is probably Blue Goku and Vegeta level, or enough to fight with their God forms, which is incredibly consistent. It's incredibly consistent for that to be the case. As we know, Gohan, with his Ultimate form, can keep up with Blue Goku, and Goku needs Kaioken to face Gohan. And this Gohan trains way less than Piccolo does. So if Piccolo can reach godly levels, or almost godly levels, let's say he's only like Super Saiyan God rather than Blue level, it would still be pretty consistent considering what we've actually seen from the Ultimate form and what it can accomplish over long periods of time. Then Orange Piccolo appears, and he just folds the Gamma. The Gamma can't even make Piccolo flinch by punching him, and he punches him one time and folds him like a Looney Tunes character. He turns him into like a piece of paper, and he crumples it up and throws it away easily. And this is when it's finally stated by Toriyama, it's nice that Piccolo has caught up to Goku and the others. Now, Superhero is not canon to the manga. However, Moro and Granola and a lot of those arcs are suggested in the promotional material. So even if they're not one-to-one to the manga version or what happens in the manga, it's still very likely that this will take place even in the anime continuity after this time. Meaning Orange Piccolo is probably, not joking, in those Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego ranges of power. And honestly, I'm all for it. Now that we've kind of gone over how he finally reached Goku and the others, Piccolo, like Vegito, Cell, and many other characters, also has a very wide, unique arsenal of abilities. However, his main attributes are obviously stretchy arms, regeneration, growing giant. However, growing giant doesn't increase his power. Apparently, it might increase his strength, which was shown against Cell Max. I don't know what you guys think, if it actually increased his strength or just made it easier, but he can grow bigger, even though it doesn't increase his power. But his main thing is his mastery over the Special Beam Cannon. So the Special Beam Cannon for Piccolo is a little bit more unique, at least compared to what we see from Cell, Cell Jr., and even Majin Buu, Gotenks, and Piccolo absorbed. Because when those characters use it, they kind of seem to look down on the ability, right? So when you see Majin Buu use it, he just kind of throws it out and he's like, that seems to, pack quite the punch now that I'm using it. Cell and the others, they kind of just use it pretty casually. But when Piccolo does it, Piccolo seems to have a type of mastery or finesse with it where you can tell he was training for almost 5 years straight to learn it. So when he only has a power level 408 against Raditz, he's able to basically amp his power level by almost 3 times to over 1200 with just the Special Beam Cannon. So he can actually take down opponents over 3 times his level with the Special Beam Cannon. Unless you think that Goku and Piccolo had power levels around 900 or almost 1000 like Vegeta suggests, but they can just like concentrate it into one attack and then amp it slightly. But the reason I think it actually might amp him at least a few times or several times even then is because later on in Super, when he finally gets to use the Special Beam Cannon again, he does it against Frost. Now, Piccolo is considered weaker than base Goku, right? That seems to be like very unanimous. Goku and everyone seems to think Piccolo would get folded by him. We see that Goku is fighting, final form Frieza, and Piccolo was just recently getting jobbed by Frieza's lackey, who would get annihilated by him in his first form, which is over 200 times weaker than his final form, at least using the official multipliers from the Namek arc, which was 530,000 to 120 million. So even if you said, final form Frieza was only 60 million and 100% power was like some amp, it'd still be like 100-fold almost. So Piccolo was severely outgunned by base Goku, and obviously base Goku absorbed Super Saiyan God, and this was why. So we see this then against Frost, right? And it seems to take Super Saiyan to handle Frost, over 50 times what it took to fight against Frieza. Then even Vegeta, when he comes in, seems to take Frost pretty seriously, and he's actually kind of going out in Super Saiyan to fight him, and Goku and Vegeta are considered relatively even. They were scrapping for years on end in the time chamber. So then you have Piccolo come in. He might be 50 times weaker than Goku and Vegeta, and then he's able to make a multi-Shadow Clone plan with his stretchy arms and create a Special Beam Cannon, which allegedly would have one-shot Frost. Now remember, a Special Beam Cannon from Piccolo also blew through the barrier that Vados made that many attacks the third form Frost at full power and base Goku were not able to do. So this Special Beam Cannon may have actually amped him by over 50 times, possibly over 200 times if you think the disparity between Goku and Vegeta hasn't changed in base form. But it actually gets even more impressive as Piccolo seems to master the Special Beam Cannon even further. And in Dragon Ball Super, the reason I say this is because eventually, by the time Gohan has his rematch with Goku, it seems like Piccolo and base Gohan were actually somewhat relative. And then when Gohan goes ultimate, that Piccolo can still actually consider his Special Beam Cannon their ultimate trump card in all their combos. So this Super Saiyan Blue level Gohan that required Goku to go Kaioken, Piccolo can charge up his Special Beam Cannon to be Super Saiyan Blue Goku level, basically, with their combos after charging it long enough. And it's considered pretty much the strongest thing in their little duo, and the whole point they do is for him to charge up the attack to that degree, which is another reason I consider Ultimate Piccolo probably blue level, because if he can charge up a Special Beam Cannon that strong, why would Ultimate Piccolo just be weaker than something he can do with a Special Beam Cannon? So that's kind of a little bit of my rationale with that. Also, he also has the Light Grenade from Kami and the Hellzone Grenade. The Hellzone Grenade creates basically like a minefield so the opponent can't escape. And the Hellzone Grenade might be considered stronger than the Special Beam Cannon, However, it seems like he never honed the Hell Zone grenade nearly as much as the Special Beam Cannon. The Special Beam Cannon seems to be like this limitlessly chargeable thing that can be used against almost anybody so long as you have the right amount of time, almost like a Spirit Bomb. So Piccolo, if he is caught up to Goku and the others, let's say he is Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta level, what happens when he charges up that Special Beam Cannon to be 400 times stronger than his base form, or even like 3 times? Would he just be stronger than Goku with the Special Beam Cannon? So I'm really hoping that something like that happens. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.